Santa Claus. Santa Claus is an eternal figure in the world today. A big, fat, jolly, bearded man dressed in crimson who wiggles down your chimney to raid your pantry and leave behind some toys. So with him being so famous, so instantly recognizable, so clear in his appearance and characteristics, Santa has of course popped up in all forms of modern media, and that includes video games. So since it is the holiday season, Christmas season, whatever, I thought it would be kind of fun to check out some of these appearances, analyze them a little bit, compare, contrast, I don't know. I mean, you clicked on a video that's about Santa and video games, so that's what it's about. I hope you like it. Well, let's first establish some real-life Santa lore and history, because I think it's cool, and we gotta give respect to the big fella, because he came a long way before he ended up in, like, fucking Shenmue. Merry Christmas! The original inspiration for the character comes from, of course, Saint Nicholas. He lived a life of charity and giving way back in the early 300s AD, earning a reputation as a protector of the poor and underserved. He's remembered as the patron saint of sailors, merchant thieves, and of course, children. While he was worshipped and thought highly of all over Europe, he was especially popular in Holland, which is important, we'll come back to that, because it wasn't until much later in the 18th century, here in the United States, that our modern version of Santa Claus was kind of hammered out. Well, historically, New York was once a Dutch settlement, and the word got around about this Sinterklaas, or Saint Nicholas, every December on the anniversary of his death. The Dutch version of St. Nick started to gain more and more popularity in the northeast of the US, and the New York Historical Society made a few sketches of him. Putting toys in kids' socks, you know the deal. This led to poems, which led to children's stories, which led to illustrations, and much, much more. Over time, his imagery and symbolism began to be meshed with that of the classic English character of Father Christmas. And of course, there are other Santa Claus-esque traditions in other parts of the world. But into the 20th century, as the legend grew and the outfit became more red, the belly more plump, the reindeer more magical, our modern Santa Claus was beginning to come into view.
Buy Coke or die.
As he entered the commercial realm, he would begin to appear as a character in movies, cartoons, comic strips, television shows, commercials, and eventually, video games.
Look through some trash cans for ornaments.
The character of Santa is often depicted as jolly, full of love and magic. It's not uncommon for him to appear as a bit of a foil to the serious nature of parents and the pace of life in the modern world. A reminder to embrace the imagination and wonder of the holiday season. So you might be wondering then, what the hell is Santa Claus doing in a video game? Well, let's truly begin our analysis, my friends. And first, the sad, sad truth. Overall, Santa is often used as a gag, a side mission star, an Easter egg, or at best, a seasonal appearance. But there are a few select times in history that the man has gotten to sit center stage, the star of his very own video game. But there have been so many different types of Santas that at times, he really feels like a costume, a shell, an iconic outer layer of whatever character the developers decided he would be filled with. Sometimes it's wholesome, and sometimes it is horrific. But it's also important to remember that Santa Claus is a mythical, magical, powerful dude. Essentially an eternal wizard who has various abilities that are well documented across modern media. Across all of the many appearances, video game Santas can largely be broken into three easy categories: shovelware Santas, classic Santas, and anti-Santas. Shovelware Santas are easy. These are variations that are adaptations of the character from movies or media that already exist. Take like Kingdom Hearts 2 Santa from A Nightmare Before Christmas. This is just that character, but here, interactable and just as he appeared in the film. This is definitely the most boring type of Santa Claus. I mean, there's no originality or interpretation to be had with the hands of the developers within the medium. But hey, there are some surprises, games that a lot of people probably don't even know exist, like the Wii adaptations of the classic Rankin and Bass animations of Santa Claus is Coming to Town and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. These are very strange games, definitely aimed at children, but just a nice, safe version of Santa Claus and Christmas that you and probably your grandparents already know and love. Then there are the classic Santas. Now these are original creations for the given game, but very much embody the jolly, generous, hard-working Saint Nick that we all know and love. Sometimes you might play as him, like in Days Before Christmas or Santa Claus Saves the Earth. That game is horrible. And in others, he's a static being, an NPC of some sort that just appears, spreads some holiday cheer, and leaves. Probably the most common Santa we find across all of video game history is much like the one that we see in Shenmue. Shenmue is a game on a sort of calendar, so if you hop in during Christmas time, you can find old Santa Claus hanging out in town, walking around, you can talk to him and everything. Granted, within Shenmue, this dude is not in fact the magical being of Santa Claus, but a retired marathon runner advertising the local sandwich place. But hey, that doesn't matter. Look at him, he's Santa.
MJ 級はカクテルの種類が揃ってますよ。ああ、君未成年ですね。すいません。Yeah.
Because he's not the only Santa that's, quote, a phony. Video game history is speckled with both the real deal and obvious ordinary humans embodying the role, much like we have in the real world. Another great example of a classic Santa is in World of Warcraft. During the Winter Veil yearly Christmas event, you can find a dwarf representation of Santa chilling in Ironforge right next to the big tree. You can speak with him, sit on his lap, get a daily gift, and he belts out some ho-ho-hos and sends you on your way. It's almost like you're at Macy's. And this other one is a bit more of a stretch, but even Jingle from the Animal Crossing series, who isn't technically a human named Santa Claus, but has the very same function. A game on a calendar that has this mascot waiting for you every December, spreading gifts and cheer to all the land. But classic Santas also appear as extremely minor characters in a ton of video games. Some of these you could even call cameos, like in the Sims series where you can kind of summon him on Christmas Eve. He might hang around and even take a leak in your toilet. Or ToeJam and Earl where you can track down Santa Claus, sneak up on him, freak him out, he takes off in his jetpack and you get to steal his presents. Because for some reason I feel like Santa Claus is a character that has fallen into that category of random. Like characters that developers think are funny or goofy to throw in as an Easter egg or a hidden character to play as. Other characters in that category are like the Grim Reaper or a zombie or Spider-Man, you know, like unlockable things in Tony Hawk Pro Skater or something. Well, we're gonna get to more random depictions of Santa Claus soon, but first, let's touch on our third and final variation, the fabled anti-Santa. And I think you know damn well where I'm going with this. Video games are often violent, crude things, not fit for a being of such pure intention and heart. So what better solution than to turn Santa into an abusive, drunken bastard or a supervillain? The anti-Santa is something that transcends even video games. This is for some reason a very appealing archetype to people.
What do you want? What are you doing? God damn it!
Nintendo Deer Hunter 3.
Shit, what you want?
Because when you think about it, Santa Claus is such an easily corrupted character and image. I mean, just tweak a few things here and there and you've got a great villain. Instead of a toy factory, it's a factory making nuclear warheads. Or instead of happy little elves working in his workshop, he's enslaving the elves and paying them 4 cents a week, not letting them unionize. This sort of thing just translates so well to video games that don't take themselves too seriously and just want to give you that festive chuckle. Well, the first I have to mention, which is probably my favorite in this entire video, is Sumo Santa from Clay Fighters. This dude is just butt-ass naked, throwing his girth around like it's Christmas Eve and Mrs. Claus burnt the cookies. But you can't ignore the very deep Clay Fighters lore, okay? That this is in fact an evil clone of Santa Claus coming to suplex the real big man and take control of the North Pole. But this idea of an evil Santa Claus is everywhere in video games. I mean, look at Saints Row 4. There's this awesome expansion pack centered around Christmas. And Claus is that exact archetype. You have to hunt him down like the dog that he is and murder him in order to save the real Santa Claus and thus save Christmas. I think you kind of get the picture here. Santa Claus is happiness and love incarnate, so naturally video games are going to want to lean into that and use him as that, or break the mold utterly and kind of make you laugh. Makes perfect sense to me. So for the rest of this video, let's say screw the structure. Let's just talk about some of these video game Santas, what make them good or interesting, and a few that I really like. Well, one that came right to mind when I thought about making this video was the Santa in Secret of Mana. Yeah, Secret of Mana. This game is such a classic JRPG with a classic story, but honestly, outside of the main events of the game, the quests and activities are extremely strange and kind of all over the place. But none caught me off guard like this. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer comes out of the forest and is like, "Hey man, you know Santa? Yeah, that one, he needs your help, dude. He was captured by this big monster." So naturally, you go, and you hit up this big ice palace dungeon to fight a boss named Frost Gigas. But the big monster in question is actually Santa, corrupted by a seed of mana that he stole. You see, times are tough, and kids ain't believing in him like they used to. So he thought with the power of this mana, he could grow the biggest damn Christmas tree the world ever saw, bring cheer back to the land, and live off the adoration of children for another several thousand years. But thankfully, after a light ass-kicking, this Santa is redeemed and ends up sharing with us a lesson about believing in the spirit of Christmas and being kind to the planet and its resources.
Hey, Santa. What's up?
Well, if it isn't my favorite little helper. You want to smoke?
But a much less wholesome Santa can be found in Rockstar's classic game, Bully. Rudy the Red-Nosed Santa is drunk, sitting on a toilet in an alleyway, and trying to get you, a minor, to smoke and drink with him. But you instead are enlisted as his special little helper to find some decorations to fix up his, workshop, as he puts it. There's even a bunch of little elves that mess with you along the way, so you gotta give him the old yeah. The goal here is to lure children into his alleyway, have them sit on his lap, and charge them for photos of this. Skeevy as hell and definitely illegal in at least 5 or 6 ways, but it's a successful little gig and he waddles off to gamble away what he earned at the racetrack. Hell yeah, man. Santa's a hustler. But hold the phone! This is a ghost charm video, baby. You know me. How am I not gonna bring up the Elder Scrolls, at least for a second here? Now, sadly, there isn't a universal classic Santa Claus-esque figure in the franchise. But there's something much, much better. Uncle Sweetshare.
Candy, candy, he makes so much. Uncle Sweetshare has a magic touch. So it's back to the workshop in the snow, with lovely lanterns all aglow. Hee-hee, ha-ho, hee-hee, ha-ha-ho.
Part of the Blood Moon DLC, Uncle Sweetshare is obviously a twisted version of Santa, an insane drug-addicted Nord alchemist that has become a monster. He is highly addicted to moon sugar and has killed several, including his apprentice, by distributing his candy to all the children in the area. The DEA is about to come raid this fool any second, but you instead are picked to put an end to the madness. Given that his veins are absolutely pumping with moon sugar, he has all these elemental resistances and sings a fantastic song. God bless you, Uncle Sweetshare. But additional fun fact that Morrowind heads probably already know, this character was supposed to be known as Grandfather Frost and look like this, along with a red Colovian fur helm to kind of complete the Santa look. And instead of a Khajiit assistant, he was supposed to have a Bosmer assistant, you know, a little elf helper.
Now you're going to get it.
But Bethesda didn't like how on the nose this reference was to Santa Claus, I guess. He still exists in the game files, but it's kind of lame that they changed it. At any rate though, Sweetshare is memorable as hell and the only Santa Claus in a video game I can find that distributes drugs directly to children, so what a legend. Now, one little odd game that I really enjoy and think deserves a ton more attention is actually one I mentioned earlier in the video, Days Before Christmas. This is a super duper simple, cute platformer starring Mr. Claus. It was developed by a Norwegian company known as Funcom for the Sega Mega Drive and later SNES. It never released here in the United States, but for some reason in college I wanted to play a Christmas game, so I emulated it, and I was very pleasantly surprised. Santa Claus is the star, and the theme is just absolutely on point, with each level being a day on the advent calendar leading up to Christmas. You know, the days before Christmas. The sprite work and animations are great for its time, and there's just a ton of classic Christmas cheer to experience. The gameplay's decent enough, and it just has tons of soul. I mean, this is like the game to play Christmas Day, cozy by the fire. Highly recommend. I also want to, of course, comment on the dozens upon dozens of appearances of Santa's outfit. Just that red hat and robe as a skin or equipable set of items or whatever in tons of video games. I think this is just a testament to how iconic that Santa drip really is. It just evokes holiday cheer and it's instantly recognizable. So for the finale of this video, I want to make up a hypothetical video game starring Santa Claus. Something amazing that will be on everybody's Christmas list. Something that isn't quite out there, would fly off the shelves because I am a genius. And that, my friends, is a Santa Claus stealth action game. Let's title it Santa, with a period. You know, just Santa. That modern marketing, people love that stuff, right? Well, in this game, you would of course play as him, and the gameplay would be focused on delivering presents on Christmas Eve. But hold on, we need a conflict. And that conflict is disaster in the workshop. The reindeer are all on a labor strike, so the big fella's gonna have to take to the streets and do this thing pagan style. Let's even set the game in a big city like New York. And as Santa, you have to navigate the city, use back alleyways, public transit, fire escapes, you name it. But remain in the shadows while you're doing your Santa business. If anyone sees you perform any of your magic or intruding in someone's apartment, you get arrested, and there's no little kids with jetpacks and magic tinsel coming to save you. Think of it like a high-stakes reverse heist, where instead of robbing people, you're doing some guerrilla present delivery. I'm thinking kind of like that Styx game with the little goblin combined with Burger King. Sneak King, yeah, that one. I don't know, dude. I think I'm onto something here. I have my attorney on hand for someone if they steal my idea, so please do. I'd love to cash out. Anyways, I just always think it's really interesting to take one enemy type or one universal character like Santa Claus and just think about how they're used or depicted across all these different games. I mean, we did this for the Halloween video with demons. Santa is definitely an odd one because there's just so much random shit here, with people taking the appearance or the shell of Santa and just filling him with something goofy, topical, or appropriate for the given game. But I suppose in real life and legend, Santa is literally a once-a-year cameo, a mysterious guy. He's not the main attraction of any place, story, or events unless they're directly centered around Christmas itself. So maybe then we just need more games that take place on Christmas. And with the medium growing and changing constantly, you can be sure that there are many more Santas to come. I mean, check out this VR Santa game. And also, I have to always mention, I did not cover every Santa. There are tons more. These were just some that stuck out to me. So what is a memorable Santa appearance that you enjoy from a video game? And what are other universal characters or enemy types that we could have a look at in videos like this? Thank you so much for watching this video to the end, my friends. It means the world to me. No matter what holiday you celebrate, I sincerely hope you have a wonderful holiday season and get to spend it with people that you love. I appreciate you deeply, and I will see you very, very soon. Until next time, peace!